Welcome to the Energy Hour. The Energy Hour is brought to you by Quality Home Improvement, Southern California's premier residential and commercial contractor, making homes and businesses energy efficient, one building at a time.
What's happening, California? Hi, my name is Christopher Moss. I'm the host of the Energy Hour podcast, and today I'm hanging out with Shaun and Brett. Brett is in the studio. What's up, dude?
What's going on, guys?
Yo. You know, Rob, he had to do some banking stuff. He's putting together this cool deal that will make us all millionaires. Thanks, Rob. We appreciate you, man. So we gave him a bye today to hang out and get that finished tomorrow. So you never know. Well, we might be doing this from Sunset Beach or something like that, man, or Newport Beach in my nice beach house.
Hell yeah.
Why the hell not, right? Hello?
Absolutely. Try Laguna.
Yeah, Laguna's great too. I mean, not a bad spot. A lot of good places. A lot of good people down there, right? So we might do some Laguna there. So I had to turn your microphone up a little more, Brett.
Oh, sorry
right.
about that.
No, it's all good. So anyways, welcome to the Energy Hour podcast.
Thank you.
You know, today is, what is it, the 3rd of May?
Already?
Are you kidding me? I mean, last week, Shaun and I were going, well, it's the end of the month. And we're thinking, what happened to this year?
I know.
It flew. Well, it's flying by.
Already 5 months into it.
It's the 3rd, and I'm just blown away, man. Wow. You know, just things going on, right? So we have a few topics here we want to speak about today, and they're pretty significant, I would say.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're a homeowner, right? You got to know these things. You got to think about them. You got to put them into perspective. And at the end of the day, it's not about price. It's all about quality. Would you agree?
I do, 100%.
So is quality good in your opinion, or do you want to have something that's cheap?
Quality.
Like on your house, if you were to do something like
Quality.
this. One of the topics right now is solar pool heating. And I know we all come from a background of solar pool heating. Some guy tried to teach us to us a long time ago, and he did okay. And we just emphasized from there. We morphed into the better, right? It is what it is. But solar pool heating. Let's take your pool for example, right?
Yeah, my pool. I got a 800 square foot pool.
800 square feet.
Yeah.
Wow, that's huge. That's right. It's like almost a miniature.
That's how
Olympic.
the Romans live.
Right? Oh my God.
Yeah. My solar pool heating is a little bit older. I use terracotta helical. It's the same manufacturer that we use for Sunstar and EcoSpark, the ones that we install now.
Yep.
They don't make the terracotta anymore, but
Why is that, do you think?
it didn't sell. And also it turns to white after a couple years.
Oh, really?
So yeah, the heating really aspect of it goes away really quick.
So it didn't transfer the heat well either to the pool.
It was 20 to 25% less effective, and then over the first 5 years it drops, and then it drops dramatically after 5 years when it turns white. So we install black panels now predominantly, and
hence absorption of heat transfer.
Do.
Okay.
Exactly. And what we've been seeing lately is a lot of people with smaller roofs, and we've been going with the EcoSpark system. It actually has a glazing on it, which...
So hang on a second here. There's helical, there's Sunstar, and there's EcoSpark, right? Helical is the original solar pool heating, would you say, that started a long time ago?
Yeah, I wouldn't say the original, but it's been around a long time, and their technology is one of the best that's out there.
It's better than that rubber stuff that people put up
on. Unfortunately, yes.
You know, I saw this one roof that it looked like somebody glued something down to the top of the roof.
Yeah.
And they just rolled this rubber thing over it.
Yeah, it's the fruit roll-up system. It actually
Is that what you call it?
Yeah, it actually starts with an F.
So much cheaper by any means, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
cheap is cheap.
So if you're doing it cheaper to where it's like the product is cheap, I know it's EPDM rubber, right? They got some special chemicals in there that sunlight resistant, but rubber is rubber. Am I right?
The problem is you probably have an experience looking into your pool where you have that nice ash action going on there because of the degradation inside those waterway tubes, which are predominant on those mat type systems.
So you got this rubber thing up on your roof, the fruit roll up as you call it. And then the chemicals from the pool are going through these rubber inlets, right?
Exactly.
And that kind of makes the breakdown of the inside of the rubber. And so you see that stuff. I've told it was called it looks like black ash to me.
Everybody's going to handle their pool differently. So obviously whatever chemicals you introduce to your pool have to filter through those water pathways. So
yeah. So you got to do it right, basically.
It's no different than, the arteries in your body,
Yeah, too much Jack in the Box,
too
and
much of all
there
that,
it goes,
and,
right?
If you don't have a way to clean that system out, it's going to get stuck.
Okay, so people use that because it's cheap, and it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense to me. Why spend $5,000 on I've seen them to go higher, much higher price too. Of course, it depends on the size, right? Mm-hmm. So why spend all that money to where you're going to be damaging the bottom of your pool in the future?
That's a great question.
Yeah. But I don't think the guy that's selling it to him tells him that.
Absolutely not.
Probably not, right?
No.
All right. So the rubber stuff is off the list. So no fruit roll-ups on your house. The next thing is the polypropylene systems, right?
That's what we use, yeah.
Yeah, which is probably one of the best chemical, enhanced plastics, if you will, to put up on your roof because it's sunlight resistant. You don't have to worry about the breakdown in the channels when the water is going through it. And, it just the black doesn't fade. It's just stays black.
Exactly.
Right?
It does fade over time, but it's 10 years before it even starts to even remotely fade. And the warranty on these panels is outstanding. It's 12-year manufacturer warranty.
12 years out of the box?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. I have this product on my house, and I think it's great.
And you had the old terracotta one.
Yeah, I have the terracotta version.
And it still works.
It still works. My pool's 85 right now.
What?
Yeah.
85 degrees.
It's 85. And
that's like bath water.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
So let me get it. You're not wearing a wetsuit to go swimming in the afternoon?
Not anymore.
Not anymore? Thank
Not
you,
anymore.
Helioco, baby.
In case there's pool accidents, it raises by about 2 or 3 degrees.
Or the color turns purple, right?
Right.
So, yeah, good stuff.
Absolutely.
And so now the latest and greatest stuff that's black, the same similar technology, you would think the heat transfer would be greater?
Well, with the EcoSpark, it is greater. It's about 25% greater per panel, 25%. And we use those panels on systems that are pools that are very large and we have minimal space, or the customer just wants a premium panel. And
that makes sense.
It actually looks like a PV panel, but a larger version of it.
So if somebody comes up to you and they go, hey, man, I want to get that EcoSpark, but I want to get it cheap. What do? Point him towards that rubber stuff?
No, I just point out the benefits of it.
Oh, okay.
If he doesn't have to go with or they don't have to go with the glazed panel.
Yeah.
There's no reason to if they have the room for it.
If they got the room for it, that's
Correct.
good. That's great stuff.
Yeah, there's no reason to overcharge someone for something they don't need.
Hey, I like that. Hello, hence quality, right?
Exactly.
It is what it is. So, yeah, no more fruit roll-ups. The EPDM is not the way to go. Polypropylene is the way to properly transfer that heat to your pool. And you've got the glazing systems from youy. That's the EcoSpark, which is night and day.
Absolutely.
I've seen you guys put them on ground racks. I've seen you put them on roofs. In fact, we took out the drone there on a few of the jobs and got kind of crazy. It was kind of cool, man, to see how that works out. And so the properties are greater. It's going to put more heat in the pool. And what would you say the typical swim season is for somebody that uses an EcoSpark system?
Well, if we're able to get an 80% system up there, which is a 100% system of a regular system, we can almost guarantee 6 to 9 months out of the year.
So I'm Joe Blow. I've got a pool. It's about 450 square feet. When you say 80%, you mean 80% of the 450.
Correct.
So, and these pool heating panels are how big?
It depends. They're all 4 foot wide, but they range in length anywhere from 7.5 feet to 12.5 feet.
Wow. So you can cover more with less.
Correct.
In a sense. Okay. So we stick those up on the pool and you're saying it's going to be at least 6 months out of the year?
Absolutely.
Wow. So if I wanted to get more, and turn the volume up a little bit, heating wise, I just stick a few more panels up there.
Yeah, if you wanted to really max out your swim season and get it, we'd want to go for 120% of what your pool size.
120%?
Yeah.
That's fantastic, man. And that's the EcoSpark system.
EcoSpark and SunStar, yes.
And Cali Sun, hello.
Cali Sun, baby.
Southern California, the website domain is CaliSunInc.com. I think
sir.
yours is the only domain name besides like AOL.com that you can spell. Mine, you're throwing a G or a 2. I have to spell it to people like 16 times before they get it. And it's only 6 letters. It sucks, right? But CaliSunInc.com is where they can go and get this stuff.
Absolutely.
It's a pretty badass website, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shaun.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Shaun does a lot of the maintenance, and we kind of fart with that, and then we put up a really good opportunity for people. And at the end of the day, I totally think that we want to do what's right.
Absolutely.
There's nothing worse than having to speak to somebody, and then all of a sudden your expectations just went down the toilet.
No, I'm right there with you. No,
have you ever heard the stories of people going in there and say, hey, they promised this, but they couldn't give them that?
Correct.
That's just bad,
we come
right?
across that on almost every deal we go to.
I think Shaun, look at him. He's shaking his head. You see it all the time, right?
Yeah, it's very prevalent.
Very prevalent
It's
out in the
just,
industry.
Human nature for some reason.
Human nature? It shouldn't be human nature, man. You need to hook people up right the first time, right?
Exactly.
Anyways. Yeah, that's just another story. So solar pool heating, check that off. CaliSunInc.com. It's where you get it.
Thank you.
If they wanted to call you directly, Brett, how do they do that?
They call me at 909-731-8065, or they can reach me on my email, sales@CaliSunInc.com.
God, such an easy domain name, man. Can I buy it from you?
Absolutely. Got a contract.
Right? Hello. All right. Very, very cool. Now, here's another subject that we've been talking about for a while. And I think in time, it still hasn't proven itself. Although, I feel in the next 2 to 5 years, it's going to be very, very adamant in these homes, right? Now, you hear everybody out there trying to sell these solar systems with lithium ion backups, right? And the average system is like a 9.8 kilowatt. I think it's from LG. They kind of make something really cool, right?
Yes.
You have a 9.8. Yes. What does Tesla put out there? What is it, like a
I think it's
5K?
I think it's a 7.5.
7.5K?
Maybe a 13.5.
Okay.
I'd have to look that up, honestly, because we don't even bother.
We don't bother with Tesla.
Okay.
We just don't even bother with it.
So, that being said, and the only thing that bugs me about this lithium ion thing is that it drives the price through the roof.
Yeah, it can. It definitely can. It has its, how do you say this? It has its perks if it's hooked up correctly.
So I know if you don't do it in a specific amount of time, you kill the cell, right? Mm-hmm. So that's a negative. Correct. So within 90 days, if you bought one of these, and if your guy, the company, whoever you bought this with, doesn't put it in play, it's dead.
It can be dead, yes.
It can be dead. Mm-hmm. You got to jumpstart them or something like that.
You have to at least get it to trickle charge at least one time in there.
So if this installer's not paying attention,
if someone on the back end is not doing the paperwork correctly, you can be waiting a long time.
Wow, and that leads to loss.
Loss for the customer, loss for the company, loss for everyone.
LG made their money though. Maybe?
No, sometimes they warranty those and they'll have to eat it. So everybody loses across the board at one point or another.
We're talking about lithium ion right now, right? You guys know specifically how we started out in batteries, right? Remember the old T105s from Trojan?
Yep.
That was like my favorite, right? I mean, then I got into the Charette and Rolls-Royce, the AGM batteries, asthmatic glass mat, the liquid cell type version. And trust me, and they had off-grid way back when. And then they had an inverter that said, hey, we can kind of do both. So the point of the batteries was to get charged up by the solar cells, right? And then the inverter connected to the batteries, and that fed whatever was power from the batteries into the home. And if you didn't maintenance your batteries,
they're dead.
Nothing worked, right?
Yeah.
And those batteries, I remember selling them, man. We were selling them for $200 and $300 a piece. They weighed anywhere between 80 and 140 pounds. These were like, I'll just say it, nut busters, man. I've seen guys trucking these things up hills, and I'm like, oh, damn, I feel sorry for that guy, right? So off-grid systems were very prevalent back then.
Yeah.
And I didn't think that they would be really, really cool, but everybody bought them. I don't know why. I don't think they're still working. They had to have changed them out by now. But that being said, lithium ion to me these days is a little better.
No, I agree with you. It is better, but unfortunately, the way we get it is destroying our lands in those countries that it comes from. But
Yeah.
I mean, you got to look at the pros and the cons. Is it worth doing what we're doing? If we're in this country, the answer is yes. If we're in that country, the answer is no.
Well, I think Malaysia, parts of India, and other third world countries are getting the byproduct of these failed lithium ion batteries. I'm not just talking about the ones you're putting in on your solar system. I'm talking about your batteries from your flashlight. I'm talking about batteries from cars.
Your phones.
Batteries, period, right?
Everything.
So they're getting this, and when it goes into the landfill, really screws it up. And what do they say? It takes like 100 years.
I don't even know if it ever gets...
Does it ever get
I don't know.
recycled? I don't think so, right? Is there any natural properties in that? I mean, look up a battery. It's not a lot of whole chemically, features that can support biodegradable, right?
It is bizarre that there's, before the battery, there was those natural elements that formed the battery, You're
talking about
look at the Egyptians, right? The hieroglyphics.
Oh, yeah,
where
for sure.
You see light bulbs and stuff. I mean, it's
yeah.
obviously light bulbs, right?
Yeah.
But they figured out a way to do it. So we obviously do it nowadays, but we try to compartmentalize everything and try to make it clean, The ironic part of that is they'll go to a facility that's, ISO 9001 or whatever it is, right? For, the cleanliness and everything there just to produce a product that's going to destroy the environment.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, wow. And it's the same for people that will say, well, the same thing goes for solar, but like Brett says, you have to weigh, those options, I would suppose.
Yeah, just like they say right now still, when you're looking at solar, and this is one of the bad things about solar, is it takes more energy to produce the panel than the panel will ever produce.
Yeah, I heard about that.
But at the same token, you outweigh it. Like, you weigh out those options. Yeah, it's going to cost the money to produce the panel, but at the same token, you're saving that much of a footprint afterwards by putting 20 of these on your home or 150 of them on your business.
Right, and
so
obviously
forth.
they figured out some way to make it cost effective enough to
Work.
pass it along to where that you can see that value after the fact. So.
Absolutely.
To replace fossil fuels, right? It's totally the way to go.
Absolutely.
Who wants to be sucking oil out of the ground for the next 500 years? I mean, it's pretty bad. The ionosphere now, it's kind of got this real bad, thick buildup. And, when the sun comes in past the ionosphere, hits the earth, it's supposed to go back out, right? Well, it's thick enough to where it actually bounces off that and then goes down to the earth, bounces up again, and then goes back to the earth a third time. That's what's heating up the earth, man. That, carbon dioxide, that's bad stuff.
Yeah.
Then we got vehicles blowing that stuff in the air every single day. Every time you get in your car, you're blowing a little amount of that carbon dioxide into the environment.
Not including large business.
Oh, yeah. Energy producing businesses or, steel mills and stuff I mean, we get it, right? We got to build it. We're getting too large in the world. I don't know. Maybe that's why COVID was invented. I'm just saying.
Well, what do you mean we're getting too large in the world?
I mean, think about it. There's only
Have you
enough.
ever seen National Geographic where you see the desert and you're like, they're right. There's not a single person out here, but yet they'll tell you, oh, there's 7 billion people on this planet.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
We got plenty of space, but nobody wants to live in the Ozarks or well, I mean, think about it.
Yeah, that's not necessarily all the habitable space that would be available either, so.
Listen, the Inland Empire alone is a desert.
You have people that live on boats that have never stepped on land, ever.
That would be kind of cool. Just take Dramamine, right?
that's their life, that's their culture, that's their upbringing. They're used to that.
They just go from port to port to port.
It would be completely foreign to them if you said, "Oh, well, we walked on land for 5 days until we saw this mountain." They're like, "Unless I could sail over there, it doesn't really exist to me."
Oh, that's crazy. I never thought of it that way. So you think there's people living up in like trees?
Yeah, there's people in the Amazon that actually live in trees.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
For sure.
You won't see that in Fontana, right?
No, trees probably aren't big enough.
No. Well, hang on a minute here. You know something I don't know, Brett? Oh, geez.
Not at all.
And then you see these, it's kind of crazy. We're going off the spew a little bit. Then you see these minimalists. Have you guys heard of those guys?
Oh, yes.
I mean, their house is like 400 square feet. And they have their kitchen, living room.
And their body mass is 600.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. But, I mean, these minimalists are they're trying to make it smaller to be put in bigger areas, to see if everything will fit.
Yeah, everything is like prim and proper and right in
square,
right? Perfect place, never to be moved or questioned. And
look what they're doing. Look what they're doing with some of those really cool shipping containers. They're making houses, dude. Houses out of that. I've seen
just make them big enough for people to live in.
You kind of weld a couple of them together.
Some of these people, I see these shows sometimes. They're so proud, It's a 10 by 20. Or whatever, right?
But they look bitchin', man. They look really good. I may buy one.
So, I put a couple of them together, and that's how big it was. And think you have a nice day. And I spent, $180,000 for it by the time it was all done. I'm like, really? I'm like, wow, somebody got ripped off. I'm like, really?
Oh my God.
Doesn't make any sense whatsoever, It doesn't to me.
Well, it's architecturally sound there, Shaun.
That's fine.
Okay.
Right, and I have zombies knocking on my door. Right.
But, you hear it all the time. There's not enough food. There's not enough space. So we got to do something about it.
People aren't dying.
Yeah, right.
And people aren't being born.
Yeah, right.
Hey, I have a shocker for you.
What's
That's
that?
going to continue whether you are here or not.
Oh,
okay, so
of course. Shaun, I love it, man. So lithium ion, right? Let's get back to that. Sorry, short people and where the other guys in Ozarks, I'm not talking about that anymore. So the lithium ion batteries, they got some pretty crazy technology. They got 9,800 watts in this LG container. Now, let's talk about the real technology, right? So you got the solar system, and we understand the solar system feeds the grid. It also tops off the batteries throughout the day. And at nighttime, your solar system, because the sun goes down, we know this, right? Moonbeams are not enough power to power your home yet. But
you'd be surprised. There are some people out there that would think so.
They're working about it. Are those the guys that think the world's flat still?
Flat worlders?
Oh, yeah. They're out there.
They are.
All right. So that being said...
Well, remember, when you don't have an atmosphere to deal with and you're dealing with the vacuum of space, dreams of solar are better maintained than they were if they would be on the planet here. Yeah, we have the atmosphere to help with light refraction and things of that nature.
Yeah.
But yeah, solar could be possibly entirely feasible with lunar, depending on how that light gets captured. I mean, look at these super telescopes that capture light from multiple billions of light years away. I mean, if we have that technology, the other exists too. Wouldn't be surprised if it already exists enough to be prevalent, but nobody's really stepping out with it. Kind of like the cure for the common cold or what have you, or somebody who has a cure for cancer, right?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. So not to get off the subject a little bit, but I was listening that they were going to do some of these solar projection things from space to like hit this point, and then it generates energy at that point. You've heard about it too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just crazy, but wouldn't that be like frying an ant? You remember when you were a kid and you had a magnifying glass?
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh my God, look, this is
Well, think about it, right?
Isn't that like parabolics on steroids?
Yes,
Yeah, no
exactly.
kidding.
You got
You can already project an image on a green screen. You already have a blue background.
Exactly.
a blue background, exactly. And
So-
then you got this Fresnel lens that, enhances the strength of that beam coming to the earth. I don't know about that, man.
Well,
maybe
we're
they
pretty
should
tiny
think about
too,
They should think about that a little longer, right?
We're pretty tiny.
Who gave
too,
these
if we're
guys
gonna
the,
do that
the
to
right
us.
to do that anyways?
A billionaire.
All right. Yeah, some billionaire. All right, so lithium ion, 9,800 watts goes into this little cavity, right? And then you use it at night. There's not 9,800 watts to be used at night, I don't think. You're not running your air conditioning, You're probably running Google, hey, Google, play Hammock or something like that. It's probably going to play in the other room now, watch. But, things like that.
Yeah, but depending on how much storage you're using, you might be able to help offset those Edison time of use 5 to 9 p.m. customers.
Do you think that they're ever going to give a benefit to the homeowner that's initially doing that?
Well,
Of course
they
not.
already have.
Well,
Just look at their bill. Look at every increase that's on the bill and what your bill is now, and it's already been decided 2 years prior to you seeing it in front of your face. So unless that customer themselves or they had an advocate to go up to the state to lobby for that, to say, hey, that shouldn't need to be happening.
Sure.
Under Public Utilities Commission.
it's going to stay.
It's going to always be something where the utility wants to make additional money. And that's why they're billionaires. That's why they hire these lobbyists to do all this thing, this marketing or what have you for them.
Yeah, they're, capitalists. They're a business, so why not?
Absolutely.
So, so you get these lithium ion things. I mean, the cost of these things to install are not cheap.
No, not at all. No, we're looking like.
First, you got to buy it.
Yeah, you're looking $5,000 to $12,000 to $15,000 installed before any rebates, and that's if you can get a rebate. There's a wait list for rebates. They go on and off by the quarter, and
Which means you may never get it.
you may never get it. And also, if you're in it all depends if you're in a fire area and how risky your fire area is, and it's based on that. And if you're able to get
So heat's a problem for those.
getting power outages. So if you're in
Power
a fire,
outages.
if you're in a fire area and the power lines can get burned and get taken out, then you're able to get a rebate before other people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Kind of cool, right?
Yes and no, because people don't even know about it.
Oh, yeah. So it is what it is. But people are putting these in there, and the craziest thing about it is the price is exponential.
It is.
By the time you add the solar system in place and you've installed it, and now you're putting this lithium ion thing into place, it skews, I would think, and I did several studies, it skews the pricing. I mean,
It does. It goes-
you got a guy that, hey, I want lithium ion. I'm close to decare, but I'm not. I spent $100 a month because I live in the dark. And now I want to get us, this sales guy talked me into a lithium ion system.
Yeah, but
Right?
as soon as you get rid of decare, your bill goes up 30%.
People don't realize that, do they?
No, they don't.
So this is why we try not to do anybody with decare without them knowing it.
or if you do 100% system.
100%, exactly. Yeah. And you know what?
Well, all systems should be 100%,
They should, unless they're
exactly.
deep-shaded.
if possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing anything under 100% doesn't really do anybody any
It's a
benefits.
disservice.
We
You're
had
already going to pay for solar anyway, so why would you offset it by a small portion unless you're limited by some type of a budget
Or space.
or space?
space, yeah, for sure.
That
yeah.
could be a factor. Then you need to, adjust accordingly. Obviously, what was it? What was that saying you said last week? The last podcast?
Reduce before you produce.
right?
Yeah.
So
Doesn't it make
unless they enact
sense?
that,
Right?
It's a moot point.
Anybody that gets a home or lives in a house or whatever they want to live in, if they're going to hook up renewable energy to that property, they need to have a checklist, right?
Yeah.
And this checklist needs to say, how efficient are my windows? Are they single or dual pane? Of course, you want dual pane.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, the window's less than 10 years old. If it's 25 years old, I don't think they made them back then, but if it's 20 years old, you may want to change out that window. But as long as it's dual pane, not only does it give you a nice, value on the energy savings, it blocks out the noise and everything else, right? Inside and outside. So you want to get this checklist. You got your windows done. Then you really want to look at the insulation of the home. When they built my house back in 1986, I think it was, they had like R19. It's like, you go to one of those home stores now, right? And you roll it out and you hear these guys stapling it down. Well, that was between the 2x4 truss. And that was part of my roof, which is kind of dumb, right? Now you need to be at least an R39 or above. What I mean by that is the insulation value needs to be thicker. And I'm not saying go to one of your home stores and roll out 50 layers of that stuff because it's going to be stupid, right? I mean, I'm talking about the blown-in insulation.
Yeah.
And, of course, you want it to be formaldehyde-free, unless, of course, you're checking out soon. We can kind of roll you up in that and toss you into the hearse or whatever the hell it's going to come by. I was going to say like they did my dog. But anyway, that was another story. That was $800. Jeez. Anyways. All right. They had the white glove thing going on, but I don't know.
Yeah. Did they play any horns for you too, or feed you a steak at least?
A couple.
Some complimentary cow can for you?
Yeah, Mighty Dog cans. Yeah. But anyways, have that checklist. You want to do your windows. You want to do the insulation, and those aren't really expensive, really, if you think about it.
No, not really.
Unless you go to, Habib and Habib down there in Glendale that will charge you $50,000 to put windows in. That's a different story, right? Come here to Cali Sun Inc. or Quality Home Improvement. We'll take care of you, right?
Get your hands down.
All right. So you got your windows, you got your insulation. People don't really realize this. Another value that they can add to their home is something as simple as laminate flooring.
Oh, absolutely.
If you have a cement slab and you have laminate flooring, remember, anything in your house that's going to absorb heat, like furniture, drapery, flooring, that carpet, firstly, if you're not having allergy attacks by now, or, if you got dogs in the house, trust me, you're smelling that little pee-pee for a long time. I got a dog named Pee-pee, and she does pee, trust me. But it's easier to wipe up on the laminate.
Pee-pee has never been introduced to the paper.
Yeah. No. She's 16 and doesn't really care where she goes now. So it's one of those types. So, that being said, so you got your windows done and you got your insulation happening, and then you want to get your laminate flooring, right? You want to take up that carpet because it holds heat in, right? You want to get rid of that, and then you want to put in laminate flooring. Firstly, laminate flooring looks so good. You can get it in all kinds of colors, wood tones, natural tones, gray tones. I did like a woodsy, grayish tone when we did our kitchens and bathrooms. But let me tell you something. I immediately, and this is no kidding, first and foremost, when I put the windows in, it doesn't have that much great of an R value. It's like an R9, but it helped. It reduced my energy bill probably by about 3 to 5% doing windows, right? And then the insulation was at least 10%. Because now the air conditioning, when you pressurize your house, a lot of people don't know this. When you actually turn the air conditioner on, that's where we have vents, right? The coolness or the heat that goes in the house is now pressurized, right? And if you have, leaky windows and stuff like that and holes in your attic, of course, that's where it's going to escape. And that's where a lot of your energy is going. But when you have a sealed off attic, and what I mean by that is you take out all the old insulation like I did, and then you seal it under there on top of the rafter area. You seal it with a fireproof sealant. It's kind of like that foam stuff you squirt out. You've heard of that, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you squirt that in between the 2x4 studs and everywhere else. And then you put in that R19, which kind of seals the roof. And then you blow in the R49. And what I mean by R49, it's the energy value that you get. Between 39 and 49, or 36 and 49 are going to be great. Because remember, when my house was built, it was like nothing. They had the Pink Panther sitting up there at the top, and that was it, man.
I think it's cool using that because when they blow that in, it doesn't take very long to do all that work either.
No, within a few hours, this guy goes up there with this long tube, and he kind of like blows it all in. Sound effects are extra.
Yeah.
You know? So, and then they put these battens up and you put your little thing up there to close the opening and you're done, man. Yeah. I literally saved an additional 10 to 15% on my electric bill. So I saved a few 5% on the windows, and then the laminate flooring, probably another 5% at least, because now this heat's not being trapped. It's got nowhere to go. It's not, exuding itself in the house. And then you got this insulation in place, right? So you got 10% there, and you got 10% from the insulation, which means I need 20% less of solar on my roof.
Are you using a whole house?
Oh yeah! Oh, I'm so happy. I am so happy you brought that up. The other thing that I did to, sometimes when it's really cool outside, right? You ever notice that it's cooler outside than it is inside? Mm-hmm. Well, normally you have carpet and everything else. That's why you're hot. But I'm not anymore. So when it's colder on the outside, I actually turn on my whole house fan. And I'm not talking about the one you get at your home improvement store. Yeah. Those ones are garbage, by the way. If you're buying those, then you need to have your head examined. Or those little whirly birds or those little solar things. Oh, look, Mom, I can hear it working. Stop, right? You got to get a professional whole house fan. Of course, Cali Sun and Quality Home Improvement can help you, right?
Absolutely.
So I put that in the center part of my hallway, and it's about a 4,800 CFM. And this thing, within 10 minutes, I have a single story. This thing sucks up all that cold air from the outside and blows it out the attic space.
It's awesome, man. I actually have a 3-speed one.
Do you have a 3-speed?
I do.
Sweet.
And it's got timers on it and all that good stuff. And
it's got that 2, 4, 6, 8-hour thing, like
2,
mine?
4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and then just runs all the time if you don't want to.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You got a little remote?
Yep.
Okay,
and
sweet.
It's got 3 speeds.
You don't even have to get off the couch to turn it on.
No.
Nice.
I mounted it right next to my nest. Right there.
Oh,
right
yeah, right.
Mount it right
Looks
on the wall.
pretty cool, right?
It does.
So, in your opinion, now I was speaking to Shaun, I got at least a 5% savings by putting my laminate flooring in. I got a 5% savings for my windows. I got a 10% saving from my insulation. And this whole house fan, now you can agree with me or not, I saved 20%.
I agree with the whole house fan, yeah. My AC went out last year, and
So you don't have an AC in it right now?
Currently, no.
Okay,
no.
so that's what you rely on.
That's what we relied on, yeah.
Geez.
Yeah, so we relied on that last year in the middle of summer. We had that put in, and we're getting our AC fixed now, thank God. But it went out in July, and we went July, August, September, and, we live on the outskirts out there towards Palm Desert, so it's a little warm. Yeah. So, our hottest week last week was 123. Last year was 123.
Hello.
For an entire week.
Jeez,
and
Louise.
We made it work. And,
so that whole house fan did its job.
It did. It worked out really well. You turn it on in the morning and shut everything down around 9, 10 o'clock.
Close your windows.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then don't get me wrong, it did get warm, but it was manageable. It was under 85. So.
Really?
Yeah, and it was 123 outside, so it wasn't too bad.
Not bad, right?
Yep.
And just think, you didn't have to turn the air. Not that you could turn the air, but
he was thinking that.
Yeah, I was. No,
but what a great feeling, am I right?
Absolutely.
So, I personally believe, and this is done through studies, an additional 20%.
Yes.
Is not being gobbled up by energy costs.
Absolutely.
So we got our 20% over here that Shaun and I spoke about. Now we got the whole house fan. That's another 20%. That's 40%, man.
Yep.
Right?
And remember, they said just the gable attic fan by itself. Just if you had it by itself.
Yeah. Would help.
24 hours a day.
Would help. Yeah.
And gives you 10%.
At least 10%.
Yeah.
So we're getting double value of that. And it just makes sense.
Absolutely.
So now I have 100% home, but I've only got a 60% energy bill.
Correct.
And remember, the biggest culprits that we're paying on every month is primarily the electricity. Of course, water sucks now, right? I mean,
trash and sewer.
Yeah, oh my God, Jesus. Sorry. Yeah. So I got a 60% bill. Let me tell you what I just did to my house. Another thing, right? I'm about ready to apply this. And you know what it is, right? I think Brett knows. Shaun knows what it is. Okay. If you have a traditional wood house, you need to replace it with stucco. First and foremost, it's cement. It's water-based. It's got a better, insulating value. We have that vapor barrier on our homes, right? You tested for that.
Yeah, no, I know.
What's that question? Vapor barrier. But anyways, you put stucco on it. You put a couple of inches, the brown coat, and then you put the color on there. Really, really makes a difference when it comes to cooling the home. So if you have a traditional wood home, you want to save even more money, take off that wood that's going to be termite infested anyways and swap it out to stucco. So I'm about to do this product called Life Paint. You guys have heard about it. I sell the hell out of it. Life Paint is going to reduce my electric bill. They say 30%. So I'm going to be conservative, right? I'm going to say 10%. Let's just say 10%. So I got the Life Paint. I got the whole house fan. I got the dual pane windows. I've got the laminate flooring. I've got the insulation in my house, attic space. It's now R39 or better. So I've taken my electric bill and cut it in half.
That's badass.
And I haven't even done anything yet. So that's the reduce before you produce thing that I'm talking about. And the last thing you should do for your house to make it really, really, really good, I'm not talking about anything to reduce energy by anymore because that's pretty much it. Unless you do LEDs.
Yeah. We should have done that a long time ago.
Yeah, well, they just came out.
With the bulbs, I mean, it's easy now.
Yeah, the incandescents got to go. They look really cool if you're in a studio like here. But if you're going out practical. I mean, the
kitchen.
The kitchen, the Kelvin value is really good. So the light is perfect. And now the longevity of the LED. Don't you remember plugging them in?
Yeah.
And within 6 months, it'd be gone. I was like, seriously, dude? It has a 25-year warranty on this thing, though. Like, who's gonna rip off the little label and ship it back to?
How many people have actually utilized that warranty?
Who's gonna ship it back to Ghana? Come on. Not me. So that being said, the LEDs are kind of cool. So let's just say all those things represent 50%. The last thing you want to do for your house, and it has nothing to do with energy savings, but it has to do with maintenance. I think the smartest thing to do is a whole house water, purification or water system. Yeah. They kind of like zap the crappy water that's coming in from your city.
Yeah, water purification.
Water purification system, right? Do you realize how many faucets you'll not have to replace in 5 years? I mean, it's traditional in my house now. You go out to, one of your favorite hardware stores, and I just put in a brand new thing for the kitchen, the bathrooms, and
well, when is the last time you've replaced that little what is that
cartridge?
No, that little filter or that screen between right where the water.
Oh, nobody does that,
right,
dude.
So
oh my
God,
God, that's nasty.
Right, you're brushing your teeth with that.
Oh boy,
you're running over. You think you got the best soap in the world, but you may as well just be wiping a feces on you.
Oh, you're graphic here. Look at this guy.
I mean,
no, you're right.
It's hard water deposits mixed with whatever else.
And you know what? That wouldn't be an issue if you had that purification system in play.
Exactly.
So at right where the street comes into that purification system, that's where it alleviates the problem you're talking about, and I don't have to replace.
Well, water softener.
Okay, is that what it is?
I think it's water softener.
Okay, and they're not too bad. I mean, if you're paying $10,000, you're getting ripped off, but you can get them for $3,500, $4,000. I know a guy you can get them from, right?
You can probably get them way cheaper than that.
And then you have this, this ultraviolet thing that kills other things as it's going through the system, and then these filters that capture all the hard deposits. It's the same thing. It goes with your hot water heating in your home.
Yeah.
Those sediments build up in that. If you never, ever, ever want to change the hot water heater in your house, get one of those systems prior to anything going in your home. So we've reduced the electricity by 50%. Now I'm not having to do unnecessary maintenance inside. And I'm living like a king, man.
Well,
that's the reduce before you produce. So the guy that needed an 8 kilowatt system or a 10 kilowatt system, which is not uncommon, right? Because we see them all the time. I need a 3 kilowatt.
Yeah, 3 to 5.
3 to 5K.
Yeah.
To get rid of the rest of that energy.
Yep.
And then I could say sayonara to Southern California Edison. I guess that you're going to be doing that for me in September, by the way.
Hell yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And plus we have really cool inverter systems and stuff like that. So,
Well, I mean, it's not even that many panels on a 4K now. What is it, 8?
yeah, because they're like, 400 watts.
Yeah.
Remember back when, Siemens, what was that Siemens? Was that an 80?
It was
Shaun?
an Earth Safe Kit 1.0 system using
What was the wattage?
Siemens, either anywhere between 90 to 110 watt panel.
Remember AstroPower 100s, and then they came out with the 120.
Oh, the 120. We were so happy.
And
Oh
then,
my God, the 120, Brad. Look.
Yeah.
And then BP with their MSX 120.
120. Oh, those were the
Yeah.
days, man. Now you can get a 400 plus watt solar panel.
Dude, 400, 450.
They have a 450,
Yeah,
huh?
well,
Yeah.
we can.
We can. That's right. So it's not going to take what this is all boiling down to is my energy consumption has dramatically dropped because of the efficiencies I put into place. Title 24 wants you to do that anyways, right?
Correct.
So I brought my house up to code. Now I got a new service panel, right? So I took all that 100 amp. This thing looks so nasty. When I opened the door and heard this, and I see all the spider webs and stuff, I'm just like, I'm surprised my house hasn't
With the
got
monster theme playing in the background.
Yeah.
Was it rusted yet?
Oh my God, it's horrible to look at. So now it's all shiny and peaceful, and so I suck it out every once in a while. You be proud, Brett.
I would.
Right? Yeah, you would.
All right.
All right. So I've reduced my electric bill by 50%. You looking at those lovebirds?
I am. I'm
What a
like, all of a
sick
sudden, this thing
person.
just popped up, and you have both birds up on your TV.
We have this huge monitor in this podcast room, and he's looking at the lovebirds. Are they lovebirds?
They
Who
look
knows?
like a
Oh, even
like
Google.
a Marvel Universe penguin or something. I
It
don't know what
does.
kind of a bird that is.
So I've got 50% less in my electric bill. So that means I had to pay 50% less for my system. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Of course,
half the
unless you
system
buy it
size.
from those Russian guys in downtown LA, it'll be 150%. I'm not kidding you. You know what I'm talking about, right? All right. So my house is more efficient, and guess what? My house is going to sell faster than the other guy that doesn't do anything to his home.
Exactly.
So isn't that a great selling feature?
Lowering your
every-
carbon footprint.
Oh, well, yeah, I done my share. The carbon in September, you're going to get me out of the finish line. But I'm doing my share, and at the end of the day, I'm going to add that much more value. So what I think I'm paying out now, I'm going to get back as a benefit later. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
I mean, you've done a whole bunch of things to yours and stuff like that. So
Absolutely.
you're on
Solar
your-
pool heating.
you're on your way to laminate flooring now. Look at you.
Laminate flooring,
Right?
redoing our kitchen, redoing the AC.
I can't wait to take my saws out of that.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So lithium-ion batteries, do you really, really need them if you have a smaller system? The reality is this. You guys have heard of those 5K generators at Home Depot, right? Mm-hmm. Shaun talks about it. Just wheel it out, hook up a plug strip, and plug in your refrigerator. Because the only thing you really want running in a power outage is kind of a plug that has you can charge your phones. And toilets don't need to run on electricity, but it's nice to have maybe a couple of LED lights in there. And you want to have your refrigeration, your kitchen running.
Absolutely.
So, and you don't need your air conditioner because you got your whole house fan now. But that being said, you don't really need all that much energy from these 10K systems to run your home. So a 5K generator would be just as good. And it's $500 to $800. Who wants to spend $15,000 on a lithium ion system? Hey, listen, if you want to spend 15, I'll take it from you. Let's just leave it at that, right? But at the end of the day, it's not going to do that. So here's another solution to that. How about just getting a Generac generator? Everybody's got natural gas, right? You can run it. Oh, you have natural gas, right? Okay. I'm talking about track homes
absolutely.
and stuff like that. I'm not talking about some guy living in the middle of the Sahara. That guy doesn't have anything.
No.
All right. So you get a Generac generator. You can get a small 12 kilowatt, and that 12K will run your air conditioner too.
Yeah, and it's a lot less expensive.
It's a lot. You can probably get it in for less than 15 grand. You know, a lot less than lithium ion. And guess what? The warranty on those things are 10 plus years, and you hardly use it. And
You're only
so
using it when your power goes out. And
when's the last time your power went out? I'm an Edison customer.
So am I. Not since we've been in our house for 3 years.
Yeah. I've been in my house since, unfortunately, now you're going to figure out how old I am.
Since Moses got his first electric bill?
Yeah, that's it. I've been in my house since 1986, and I haven't had one blackout.
There you go.
One.
Not even a brownout?
What is a brownout?
It's where it's really hot in the summertime.
Is that where you got to change your underwear or something like that?
Yeah, right after lunch. It's where you
Power fluctuates.
Experience fluctuations of power as opposed to just a total blackout.
You know, I've done that, but I've got an APC next to my computer, so I really don't worry about that. It catches it, right? So I've done all the right things and the right network in your house, blah, blah. I got Google Mesh everywhere so I can get Wi-Fi everywhere. Don't use your Spectrum one. Trust me, get rid of it. Google Mesh is better. So I've done all these really cool things to my house. So my utility bills, geez, we talked about that again, Shaun. The sewage, oh my God. Is that the only thing that, maybe we can dig a septic tank in my backyard?
I don't know.
They probably wouldn't allow it. No,
well, you'd still have to dig it up every now and then and pump stuff out of it.
Yeah, every 5 to 10 years. But anyways, my utilities have been significantly reduced. It doesn't take much to run that house that we have now.
I'll tell you, man. Before I had solar, my electric bill was over $1,000.
What?
Yeah.
Stop it.
No.
Where you're currently at?
Well, no. Right before we moved there.
Yeah.
But we didn't have a pool before, and we have a pool now.
But where did you move to last time?
I moved to right down the street from where I am now.
Okay, same area.
Same area. We didn't have solar. The house was slightly bigger, and don't get me wrong, I have a large family.
Sure.
There's roughly 8 of us.
How the hell $1,000?
It's $1,000. And even when I was in Ontario, I used to live in Ontario, not far from here. Our electric bill in the summertime was $800 to $900.
Seriously.
Dead serious. Our rent was $1,800. Our electric bill was half that. Hands down, every month during the summer.
Wow.
Did you notice any weird trenching?
No.
Going to your service panel by chance?
I looked. No,
Overhead lines?
Yeah.
I looked.
Did you use underground penetrating radar to see if there's anything?
No, but
What?
no. Our electric bill, when we lived in Ontario, our house was 1,600 square feet. Was $1,000 a month.
That's insane.
We found out that our AC was undersized and we were renting. There was nothing we could do about it, so it was just cranking and cranking.
It never turned off.
It never turned off.
Oh, geez, that's a problem.
Oh, they loved you for it too.
Oh,
Yeah.
they did. And so when we rented the house,
they ever send you chocolates?
No, they never.
Flowers?
Sent me.
Nothing?
They said they raised my bill.
Bastards.
That's what they raised. They raised my bill. And then we moved to our new house, and we were thinking energy efficient and stuff like that. But realistically, our bill stayed the same. We went from a 1,600 square foot house to a 3,600 square foot house, and our electric bill stayed exactly the same.
Wow.
So
twice the space.
And it's still the same now?
No, now we have a zero electric bill because we have solar.
Hello.
We yeah. So
a no-brainer.
We installed 18 310s, and I haven't had an electric bill since. So
let me get this straight. Are you a happy camper, Brett?
I am. It's awesome to literally put that additional money towards my mortgage.
Yeah, because you're
Listen,
paying that bill anyway.
That's right.
I like what you just said. Say that again, Brett.
I put the money that I normally put towards my mortgage.
A no-brainer.
A no-brainer.
A no-brainer from Brett Dawes, right?
And he's on fire.
So you no longer have to, and that's a principal payment you're making.
Correct.
Doesn't that make you feel good?
It does. It does. It's literally.
And you've been doing that for how many years now?
3 years now.
36 payments.
36 payments.
$36,000.
Well, we did $750 a month, but yeah, roughly $36,000.
Anybody that spends, if I had a bill that was $300 a month, my kids would be living in the backyard. I'm not kidding you. They'd be getting the move out, everybody. Your ass is in the backyard. I'm so sorry. Have a great day. That's just crazy.
Wouldn't
man.
you be saying, go ahead and come on in the house instead?
No, man, it doesn't make sense, right? It's just like, what?
Yeah, and our solar system that we installed cost us $18,000. So
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Wow.
Was 18,000 not counting any rebates or tax credits? Or
No,
anything?
it was just $18,000, and then we got the tax credit on top of it. That
right.
was the
So
30%. So
At the end of the day, Southern California Edison at my house is going to hear this.
that's awesome, man.
They're not going to get any. They're not going to get $100 from me, man. I don't care. It's just not right, dude.
It's actually really cool. Like when you actually,
What is your? I mean, what do you get? What do you see on your bill?
I see a credit. I have $1,000 credit.
What?
Oh yeah.
Can you transfer that over to me?
Unfortunately, no. No, actually, it's really cool because being in solar and stuff like that, you're able to manipulate the stuff to work for your advantage, right? So, in the wintertime, I run my pool at night. I run it from midnight until 6 a.m. So guess what? Here's your TOU.
Yeah.
I literally run it for 6 hours, but I run it from midnight to 6 a.m. on my winter hours. Because
Amazing.
Not swimming regardless.
Amazing.
And then once I get my pool to heat to the temperature I want, I switch my hours back to running at night and running to the primary hours during the day. So I still get my heat, and then I'm filtering at night. So that gives me a credit because I'm not doing it during the highest peak hours, which the majority of people do 24/7. It's great. It's absolutely phenomenal.
I dig it, man. You are what they call a success story. So you've eliminated your electric bill.
Yep.
Now your pool heating is heated by the sun.
Correct.
Once you get your laminate flooring, dude, you're going to commit to that convection cooling. And you got dual pane windows?
I do. I just had them installed last year.
Okay, yeah, that's right. And the insulation, I guess once you do what you're going to do, you can maybe blow a little bigger value in that.
I am. Yeah,
It's not like you really need to because your bill's like zero.
Yeah, but it'll still help the house stay cooler or warmer in the wintertime because where we're at, we're out in the desert area.
Yeah.
And we do get freezing temperatures, and we do get in the high hundreds, 120 regularly. So definitely.
It's not uncommon, right?
Not at all. No.
Okay. So the cool thing about what you just did, man, is you have completely made your house almost all 100% energy efficient, like where I'm headed. And at the end of the day, man, if you can cut down your utility costs, you can put that extra money towards a principal payment. And this is what I tell people. They go, well, how does solar really save me a lot of money? And I says, well, if you do it right, the money that you're saving, put that towards an extra house payment. You've heard that, right?
Absolutely.
You make an extra house payment a year. If you just got a brand new house, you make one every year, you've killed 10 years worth of payments.
Roughly, yeah.
So how much money did you really save?
A lot.
The average, $500,000 house is like $2 million by the time you paid off.
Yeah.
So if you cut a third of that away,
that's insane.
come on, man. People not going solar right now is, all I want to say is you're like stupid. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I'm laughing at you. And Edison wants you to keep sucking from their system.
Yeah, and I'm
So
gonna
they can
I'm
print
gonna
out their bills.
I'm gonna reiterate what Shaun said a little bit earlier. If you look at your bill, they tell you literally in 2 years what your bill is gonna go up to. They put the proposed changes on there, and it's on there for 2 years out. So
They're giving you fair warning.
They're giving you fair warning. Also, if you want to see like your bill goes up on an average of 4 to 7% a year, just look at what it's going to go up in the next 2 years. It says right on there, you're going to go up. This what this rate's going to be. This what this rate's going to be. This what this rate's going to be.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Nothing.
How many people actually look at that bill besides you and me and Shaun?
No customer I've ever met.
Yeah. They're so like deer in headlights.
Mm-hmm. They just pay it, unfortunately. It's one of those things, conformity, right?
Conformity. I like that. Conformity. That's like Southern California is taking advantage of you, man. And you can't do anything about it. So you know what they're doing?
Yeah, you need to put a sheep sound on there because they're all a bunch of sheep. Yeah.
Well, they're doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and
They're laughing to the bank.
you know, I like that, Shaun. We're gonna get a sheep sound, right? We're gonna get like a cowbell and a sheep sound. I think that'll kind of dial us in.
Yeah, there's a lot of sheep out there.
Yeah, a lot of suckers. But congratulations, Brett.
Thank you.
You're almost there, man, and you're doing the right thing. And at the end of the day, your wife's happier, right?
Absolutely.
Because is she the chief and commanding officer and the ones that write the bills?
She is my chief and commanding officer, yes.
Right. She's a good kid. So good for you, man. Good for your family. Good for the environment. Hello, all this positive stuff. So why not? Right? All right.
Thank
So
you.
we already know that solar saves. So we're not going to have to go there anymore. Here's another thing. Look at this. Shaun, you pulled up an article that said Disney World in Florida
Yeah.
is going to offset their entire electric bill. So those of you that are in Florida, actually, Disney, give me a call. We can give you some wholesale panels. We'll take care of that part for you. They're going to try to offset 40%. Is that impressive or what?
That's amazing. I mean,
What do you think they're using like a gigawatt a day or something crazy like
I would love to know what they actually use per day and how they're, I mean, I don't know how because we don't do solar out there in Florida, but I wonder how it's all ran and if it's run similar to the Edison and stuff like that.
Trust me, these guys, if they were in Edison territory, would be a TLU 3.
They probably have their own power plant.
You know what?
They probably have their own power plant.
You know the city of Anaheim, right?
Yeah.
That was actually created to offset Disney downtown.
Correct.
Of course, they became a municipality, built houses, and now they charge everybody big bucks. But it was initially meant for Disneyland. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't.
Yeah, it's history.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says right here, they're going to double, pardon me, the number of solar-powered facilities in Florida. It's going to be two 75 megawatt solar facilities.
Woo!
They'll be online within 2 years.
150 megawatts to reduce 40%?
Listen to this.
No.
One facility is 22-acre solar farm. It'll be in the shape of the Mickey Mouse logo. Which
Oh,
you've seen
Lord.
before, right?
Yeah.
And the
How
other
cool
complex
is that?
is 270 acres, which will be 57 megawatts of power, which will produce 4 facilities to offset 40% of Disney's total energy consumption. So we already know if 40% of their total energy consumption is offset by the solar, we know what 100% of their electrical energy
So
usage
how many
is.
megawatts would you say?
Well, on that one, it was 57 megawatts of power. 75. 2 of them are 75 megawatts.
So 2 or 70, so 150 megawatts?
Apparently.
You realize how many panels there is per megawatt, right? It's like 3,300.
Depends on what size panel.
Depends on the size of the panel.
We don't think they're going to use the 80 watters. I don't think they exist. They're actually hanging in my wall over there. But that's a lot of juice, man. Holy crap.
Absolutely.
God bless Walt Disney if you can see it
Is
now.
it actually going to be on land, or are they going to use the Gulf of Mexico for that?
Oh, boy. Those little floating things? That's a
Hey, man.
joke. Seriously, what happens when one of these monsoons come flying through here, rip
They're
everything?
they're actually tied down to the bottom floor.
But what if they get loose? You got these weapons flying at you.
Actually, they don't get loose because the same technology they use for the oil rigs. They're attached at the bottom.
Oh, so they're actually proving themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, we haven't had a monsoon yet, right? Or anybody from a news channel that says I got killed by a solar panel.
If
We got
they
hurricanes
used-
all the time.
If they even used, let me see here. 75 megawatts, right? 75 megawatts. Yeah, that'd be, if they were 375s, it's 200,000 panels.
Woo! That's just for one.
That's for 75 megs.
Oh, and this is going to do 40%. So that's badass, man.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine their electric bill. It probably gets delivered by a UPS.
I wouldn't be surprised if they just made their own Disney panels for that many panels, and they're going to start their own solar company. I mean, think about it.
Make them all in the shape of Mickey Mouse. Why not?
Why not?
I can see that being
It's
popular
all
here.
Chinese connected anyways.
It would make sense. I mean, they would end up doing it for all the Disney parks around the world.
Chinese connected, yeah. Oh, Disneyland. Is that what you're trying to say? No, don't say
No,
that.
what I'm saying is that the
The
renewable
panels.
energy, right, out there, there's already panels that or probably sold a month. I apologize, a year or two ago.
And they've already got this all specced out and already paid for.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's all relative.
They hit it at the adventure park, right? Under the, whatever they had, their little tree thing.
I don't know, but
That's amazing.
Have you
man.
been to Anaheim lately? Have you seen all their buses around, just parked around Anaheim because they have so many of them? It's
Dude.
insane. They're just abandoned parking lots with all these buses because of Disney being shut down for over a year. It is insane.
He makes more money in a month. He can be shut down for 5 years and it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, that Disney subscription is hot right now. That's all I gotta say.
I mean, what is the average ticket like? $1,200 for the year?
They're not. They haven't released that yet. My wife and I are going.
You're actually going to do it?
We're gonna go for 2 weeks on a Sunday.
Oh,
But, we're gonna go check it out. But
Florida?
no, right here, Disneyland, because they just reopened.
Okay.
And but it's the normal price. They didn't raise the prices, but there's no.
What is it per ticket now?
I think it was it's a sliding scale. It's between 100 and 160 or something like that.
Oh,
So what do they
My
put you in? Like one of those air
God.
bubbles or something? You travel in an air bubble there?
No,
or
you
what?
just have to have your mask on the whole time you're in your park, and you can't supposedly eat and drink while you're walking, quote unquote.
you're going to get beat up by one of the three little pigs?
But
How does it apply if you're in a wheelchair?
we're gonna find out because my dad's going
he's
with us.
going. Okay.
My dad is going with us, so we're gonna
Nice.
find that out because he.
Hey, let me know, man, because that stuff's expensive. You can finance. They have these finance programs.
Can you imagine financing to go to Disney?
We have 8 children.
Can you imagine? Well, so the reason why we chose to go, let me just tell you, and this is off topic, but real quick,
all right.
is because they have reduced capacity to 25%. So that means
You don't have to bump into everybody?
exactly. Can you
That's
imagine
kinda
if there's
cool.
normally
That's the
100,000
only
people
time
there?
that it would be worth it.
Let's just say
Yeah.
there's normally 100,000 people there. There's only going to be 25,000 people. So yeah,
Only 25,000.
but it'd be worth it to go.
Yes, but the hot dogs instead of $5 are now $21.
None of their prices, honestly, none of their prices have gone up. Nothing has gone up.
Yet
Exactly.
they have to gauge how many sales they're getting, and if that helps to offset.
Sold out, man. It's sold out.
No, of food.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, come on. Who would pay?
You have to remember, underneath Disneyland is a whole stinking city.
Yeah, it's all built like that. It's crazy, right? They get their maintenance and their other electric whatever things
Crazy.
they're doing.
You imagine
$21?
Disney
That's not
security?
$21.
Do you think they make Disney security wear those hats?
Oh, yeah.
The one with the ears?
They're wearing Mickey Mouse underwear, trust me. Mickey's everywhere, dude. So anyways, good business, Disney World. Yay, 40% offset. That's smart, right?
Absolutely.
Company's going smart here. So one more thing that we're going to talk about before we say goodbye, and I know I've gone over my hours. Sorry, guys. Is this huge solar project in California. Now, it's going to produce enough energy for 90,000 homes. That's a lot, man. And you know what? They're going to do it successfully, and they're going to provide the energy, and people, I mean, their electric bills, I don't think are going to change, but you'll be buying maybe renewable energy.
It just says it's enough to power that many homes. It doesn't mean that many homes there are going to benefit from that necessarily.
Oh,
you understand what I'm saying?
Well,
So I've built you a box with all these components in it, and it will produce this.
This
It
much
doesn't
power.
mean it's feeding off of that.
It's going to feed the municipality, and the municipality is going to get the benefit of it.
Correct.
Gotcha. So, okay. I guess it's good. Whatever.
It's good because we're not using fossil fuels.
Yeah, that's a plus right there. Anytime we don't have to use fossil fuels, let it rip. Right?
So realistically, we're going to see double solar. You're going to see solar on the homes and the solar fields producing for both.
Gotcha. So that's perfect, right?
Absolutely.
We're gonna offset a lot more energy costs. You know, not having to use fossil fuel. Disneyland's gonna get a nice little green, leaf put on there next to the Mickey ear. I'm sure they'll make a pin out of that.
I'm sure they will.
And lithium ion. It's good, but it's expensive. I'd wait 2 to 5 years just to do it. And the reality is, I say this all the time, and Brett's done it. I've done it. Reduce before you produce. If you just won the lottery, what the hell? Go get it. Who cares, right? I mean, why not?
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, if you got a pool, really, you know what it costs to heat a pool, by the way?
I don't have no idea.
I had a guy. I had a
do it.
guy do it. He says this is going to be a weekend thing. I got to get it ready for my mother-in-law. He started heating his pool on Friday night. It went all through the night. Saturday didn't stop. I think his pool heating just kept going, man. And Sunday, once she left, they turned it off. His bill, $650. That's the gas bill, dude.
Oh my gosh.
So, put that towards solar pool heating.
Yeah.
It would be a better thing to do. Who wants to spend $650 flipping gas company?
Who wants to get in a cold pool?
Hello. A cold pool. Hey, Brett, let's go swimming, man.
Nope.
Get on your wetsuit.
Nope. Nope. I'm a sissy when it comes to cold weather and cold water. And that
Dude, it
pool-
gets up to my hips and I'm done.
Yes.
I got to
Get
put
out.
on my NEMA 5. Remember the NEMA 5 we got, right? Those hyper stretch.
Hyper stretch.
7-layer, baby. Let's do it. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out again.
Thanks for
Another
having me,
successful
Chris.
show. Brett Dallas is in the house. Cali Sun Inc.
Thank you, Chris.
CALISUNINC.com. Brett, give him your number, please.
909-731-8065. Thanks for having me, Chris.
Yep, you got it, man. Here's a special guy I want to, mention. I think we should bring him into our team, man. Just some of these cleaning systems, right?
Yeah.
His name is Ozzie. He owns Mr. Glossy. Really good guy, man. He goes out there and he'll actually increase the production of your solar panels by just giving it a good cleaning. Kind of what you do when you go see your dental hygienist, right? You go to the hygienist and they clean that crap out of your teeth. That's all you're doing on the solar panels. And if you don't do that every year, you're not kissing me. So
And a lot cheaper.
yeah, and a lot cheaper, right? Imagine losing 30%, up to 30% of the entire 100% of the solar that you put on your roof, and you haven't cleaned them yet. And I'm not just saying squirt some water on them, and you got to use special brushes, and you got to use the right chemicals. So Mr. Glossy, Ozzie is the guy to go to. He's at 909-955-5506. That's 909-955-5506. Mr. Glossy, this is the guy you want to go see. Anything you want to tell anybody about, Shaun, before we go?
I know everybody be safe out there. Crazy times, crazy people. You know how it is.
Yep.
Just make sure that
Just be safe, right?
Be safe. Yep.
All right. Anything, Brett?
I'm good, man.
Good to go?
Everybody have a good week. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody, for listening to the Energy Hour podcast.
Thank you for listening to The Energy Hour. Visit them on the internet by going to qhiinc.com/TEO. That's qhiinc.com/TEO.